With the Age of Sorcery Chapter 3 update comes a brand new dungeon. Details on this have been deliberately scarce so we didn't get any spoilers ahead of time. Now the beta is out, I decided to run through the dungeon so you can see what you'll be up against in the final chapter of the Age of Sorcery saga. The entrance to the dungeon is located at Mek Kamos's spire. When you talk to Mek, he tells you a great doom is coming to the Exile lands and Kurak brings that doom. Through diligent observation, Mek has found a way into Kurak's lair, but it requires blood crystals. Slaying Kurak is the only way to ensure this doom does not fall upon the Exiled lands. To get to Kurak's lair, you must use the transportory stone located just to the right behind Mek's altar. Mek mentions waiting until the eclipse. That isn't necessary, but I did it anyway. The vibe just wouldn't be right without it. Only 30 blood crystals are required to activate the teleporter, so I might have put one too many in, but nevertheless, I began my journey to Kurak's lair. The introduction to this dungeon is incredible. You emerge into a dark chamber, manic screams in an ancient language reverberating through the cavern. Heading towards the screams, you find a disorganised workshop painted with black candles, Acheronian icons decorating the ornate pillars. Deeper into the chasm, you find a corridor permeated with acidic pits, the corrupted corpse of an unfortunate exile burning away in one of them. Crossing the final pit, you find the entrance to an enormous chamber, the source of the crazed screams just ahead, beneath the gaze of the eclipsing sun.
How now? How now? I see. Pilgrims approach to witness miracles dark and deep. Witness until your eye jelly boils over in joy! Hierophant, show them the screaming ecstasy of revelation!
Phase 1 of the fight is cloaked in darkness as spiders dive at you from the dark. It's a fairly standard trash clearing phase where eventually a Cambodian sorcerer will join the fight. It can be a tough task taking him down, especially due to the sheer amount of spiders you'll have leaping at you. When you finally slay the sorcerer, the spiders die alongside him as the darkness lifts, and the second sorcerer steps forward. Phase 2 is a lightning storm that begins to empower the golems found around the arena. The golems are devious, striking with rapid attacks that are easily underestimated. With 1100 health, they can soak up some damage, and the second sorcerer will eventually join the fight. Much like the first phase, once you slay the sorcerer, the golems will fall and the lightning storm lifts. The third phase is brought forth by the final sorcerer. A heavy fog descends upon the arena as barriers form a maze and the undead rise from beneath the stone. With 600 health, incredible speed and overwhelming numbers, the undead prove quite a challenge. you'll have to weave through the maze, destroying 3 pillars spewing forth corruption, just as we did in Grave Matters. Once the pillars fall, the maze sinks below the stones, and the undead return to the grave, bringing about the 4th phase. Emerging from the dark corners of the arena, a gargantuan dragon accompanied by a final sorcerer. The dragon is an impossible task, bearing 1.3 million health points. The sorcerer that called him forth, however, is a much softer target. Dodging the flames and claws, striking carefully at the sorcerer, we finally slay him, sending him to the cold embrace of death as the dragon follows its master. The final phase is quite a strangely solemn one as Kurak realises he's defeated. I'll let him do the talking here.
Wretched no more. Flay my flesh and 10,000 nightmares will pour out. Kill me and inherit every curse of the outer dark. Yamna and Throgagwa! I erased my name from the book of life and scribed it into the book of Azathoth. Ya'at soon! The beyond blade, fused and apish threats. So the empty space and me, and I am but a thought. I was Kurak the wretched. Wretched no more.
So corrupted by his own sorceries, Kurak is unable to even fight back. We cut Kurak down and remove his head as the cavern shakes, beginning to fill with acidic vapours, forcing us to run back to the transitory stone. On the whole, this is an impressively well-made dungeon. The Cray shouts as we emerge into the cavern set the tone perfectly, and as Kurak's followers throw their best salvo at us, the odds are constantly stacked against us throughout the fight. However, in the end, Kurak knew he had been bested. As he kneels beneath the eclipse, his body ravaged by sorcery, he cannot muster more than empty threats and proclamations. Once you've escaped the acidic lair, you can give Kurak's head to a trader nearby to receive a Grand Ophidian Magi's cache, which contains various rewards including obolus, reagents, resources and golem parts. However, there is one more thing here. Before you go trading his severed head away, the skull reveals something very interesting. As the effects of his illusions fade, Kurak's true, scaled appearance is revealed. All along, Kurak has not been a man. He has not been human. He appears to be just another ploy by the Serpent Men, a race considered all but dead after we claimed the shining trapezohedron from the Degenerate, the last true Serpent Man. Kurak has spent much of the Age of Sorcery scheming silently in the background, much as his Serpent Men brethren did the same in the Age of the Giant Kings, turning them against the Lemurians. The death of the Degenerate in the Well of Skelos should have doomed the Serpent Men to extinction, but it seems they have one more trick up their sleeves, perhaps a trick we'll see more of in the future. Overall, this dungeon is great and makes a very satisfying ending for the Age of Sorcery. On a purely mechanical level, the dungeon is pretty small. It doesn't really line up with the size of the Warmaker's Sanctuary or the Wine Cellar, but it is decently challenging, presenting different scenarios that require you to adapt and persevere. On a lore level, it's an incredibly impactful finish to what has been a very intriguing story, and to be honest, I don't really think I've enjoyed a piece of story content like this in a game for a long time. Of course, whilst this is the canonical end of the Age of Sorcery so far, it's not the end of my coverage of the update. I'll be covering the journey systems, golem shaping, and all the other new additions over the coming days and weeks, so make sure you subscribe to ensure you don't miss a video. Thank you very much for watching, and of course a massive thank you to all of our esteemed coffee cultists on screen now for continuing to support the channel over on Patreon. Again, thanks for watching, take care, and I'll see you soon.